In today's video, we are installing the new V2 Performance steering wheel on the 1 Series. So enough talking, let's get to it. Alright, so the first things we have to do before starting to work on the steering wheel is put all the windows down on the car, and then we're going to go in the back, detach the battery from the car so the airbag doesn't explode when we try to get it off. So yeah, I'm going to do that real quick, and then we're going to get to taking the steering wheel apart and taking off some of the trim pieces in the car. So let's get to it. Okay, so there's 3 screws located underneath here that you have to undo. One right here, one right there, one right here, and then there's a little clip that you have to undo right here, and then this pops off. Also, you gotta unplug the speaker, unplug this connector, which there's a module right here, unplug that, and then we're gonna unplug this right here, and then we can pull this completely out of the car. We're gonna do the same thing on the other side, and then we're gonna have full access to all the connectors that we need to do the wiring harness for the steering wheel. Okay, on this one we had 2 screws. So we had 1 screw right here. So this is where the second screw is located on the passenger side. And then we just remove 1 clip again from the side panel right here. And this should all pop down. There we go. So yeah, this all just pops down. Now we can access the cables that are underneath. It's going to be kind of hard to show, but they're right there. So we're going to be accessing those cables right here to plug in the wiring harness, and then we're going to be pulling and passing from this side. We're going to pass the cable over through here and over there to the driver's side. So currently I'm modifying the wiring harness for new pins so I can use these connectors and make it a nice plug and play and avoid as much splicing into my car's harness as possible. So what that means is I'm repinning these cables right here, and I'm going to be using these 2 connectors to connect it into the wiring harness and create a bridge. Alright, so now that we repin these 2 connectors, or these 2 wiring leads, we're going to put the blue and red in the right side, and once you hear the click, it's in. And then we're going to put the red in the left side. Boom, in. Then we just secure it, and now we got a new connector on this wiring harness. Okay, so the next step, or the next model we're going to be doing on this wiring harness is, instead of having these 2 wires like this and crimping them into my harness on my car, we're gonna make these like a connector that crimps into it. It'll look a little bit cleaner and a lot easier to do. So we're gonna strip the wires, exposing the copper. Alright, so we stripped those 2 wires, and we're gonna use a T-tap for these wires. And there we go. Alright, so the next step is removing this blue connector right here. Alright, so we're going to unplug that connector right here, pull it out. Alright, so now we're going to take the blue connector off, exposing this. And we're going to remove the first 2 cables right here. This one and that one. Alright. So we're plugging the, we pulled out the red cable, and we're plugging in the A4 to replace that, and then we're going to plug the blue and red one out and replace it with the A3 cable. Alright, so now we're going to make this connector right here for the A5 connector. We're going to plug it in on the left side, and we're going to plug this one in on the right side, click, and then we're going to just connect it right here, and we're going to put this back right here. There we go. Alright, there's this mod right here, and then we're going to just plug it back in. Alright, the next step is removing the airbag. So what you want to do, there's a little hole right here. You stick in a flathead screwdriver. So what you're doing is you're putting your screwdriver through right here, and you're trying to go in to move this right here, the spring that holds in the airbag. So that's what we're going to do right now. There we go. Got one side out. Alright, so we're going to wiggle this one off, and there we go. The airbag is off. Now we just got to unplug these two connectors in the back. So use a screwdriver, unplug it, and then we can pull it out. Same thing on this one, screwdriver, unclip right here, then we can pull it out right there. Perfect. Alright, next thing is we want to take this screw off so we can get to the back. So we're using a 16mm right now. We're going to put it on. I'm going to hold the steering wheel like this. And what you want to do is, well, I'm going to hit it, but you can use an impact gun or this. And we're going to undo the screw right here. There we go. That's the screw that holds the steering wheel in. We're going to unplug these connectors right here. There we go. So we unplugged these two connectors, and now we can just take it off. So as you see right here on this one, I pushed out like this and got it to pop off. So we're going to do the same thing over here. Alright, there we go. Now it's completely off. Next thing we're going to do is undo these 4 screws. There we go. Alright, so once you undo the 4 screws right here, you gotta unclip it on the top. And then there's one clip down here at the bottom. Once that's off, it comes off. So we're gonna be taking off these contacts from this black connector and putting them into the white connector to have it ready for the new clocking spring. Alright, so we're back. It's been a few weeks since I've installed the steering wheel, and we're still in the same video because the spring clock, I had to get a new one because the spring cartridge that I installed tore. And the reason it tore was that when I bought it, it was a used one and it was not locked in the center. So the first time I turned left, I heard the cables rip in the spring clock, and like the whole steering wheel died. So like this doesn't work, the airbag didn't work, and the buttons didn't work. We're gonna be installing that, and that's gonna fix the problem with me not having any more function in the steering wheel. So I'll just show you guys how I did the wiring, because it did get pretty late last time. Before we put everything back together, just wanted to show where the green and brown cable go. There's a 41 pin connector right here, and you unhook it, pull it out, and then pin 1 and 12 are the ones where you plug these two guys in, or you like tap into them so you can get power. I'll be putting up the BMW diagram in this video, and I might have it somewhere online where you guys can like download it, and you can see exactly where you gotta plug in these two cables. We're gonna jump to the other side and we're gonna go over some more stuff. So now that we're on this side, you can see this is the cable that goes up here. You pretty much just tuck it underneath all these plastic trim pieces. This cover right here is gonna go up right here, and it'll hide all these cables. So we got A5 right here, A3 and A4, and it goes into this connector right here. Like I showed, you pull it apart, take this connector out, you pull it apart, and you repin them. The cable goes here underneath this plastic trim, underneath the ashtray, over and out, and underneath the center console. So that's this one, to wire this one over. You have to repin the old wiring harness and the new wiring harness from the steering wheel, and you pin them together into this white connector right here, and everything works perfectly fine. And that's the one that goes underneath the steering column. Alright, thank you for checking out today's video. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and see you in the next one.